Hey, Steve and I have 2005 Toyota Camry LE. I think that stands for less expensive here in the shop. And we're getting ready to toss a rear wheel bearing in it, and we'll show you how it's done.
So we've got the wheel speed sensor here. We're going to disconnect it. If Tony can hold the light for 1 second, I'm going to pick this little thing in here and pull the connector off. And we inspected this the other day, and it's got a clean pins. They're clean and tight. There's no damage in the harness. So we got a wheel bearing for it. It comes with this. So the wheel bearing is mounted on the other side of the backer plate. So we're going to pull the drum and get the wheel off of it, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna get the wheel off. So we had the drum off the other day, right? So I'm gonna show you how to adjust it when we put it back on. But we got this plug out here, and you've got your self-adjuster. You'll actually roll this thing up to line up for the gear right here, for your self-adjuster right there. And we'll take the plug out. We'll do that to do the final adjustment on the shoes. The pedal is pretty crappy on the car, so I tried to do that so we could at least get that done. So now if we look inside, you have the holes line up with the bolts for the bearing, and you've got 4 of them. So we're just going to rotate these things on, and they look like they're like maybe 15 millimeters.
Something like that there,
Yeah,
so you can see
so
right there.
It's got to be small enough to go through the hole. So let me go get a socket. So we got a 14 millimeter socket in there. The 1/2-inch drive one I had didn't really fit. I'm going to crack them loose with this, and we'll get them loose, and then we'll come back and spin them out. So I'll do the top one up here.
There's 4 of those, right?
Yep, 4 of these. Just gonna crack them loose, then I'll get the 3/8 impact gun, should take them out. Go get the impact gun. All right, here we go. One. We'll do this last one. Okay, I got magnet. Okay, we got one. Let me get this other one. Okay, so there's only 4 bolts holding on. We disconnected the sensor. So now in a perfect world, if we smack this thing around a few times, it should come right off. Okay?
Notice the face Steve made while I was saying it.
We don't live in California, unfortunately, we live in New England, so that's the problem we have. So I'm gonna get a couple of hammers so I can put a hammer next to it and then hit that hammer because I don't want to damage my brake shoes. And we also have our slide hammer that, you know, could work for us. And so let's try and rough it up with the hammer first a little bit and see if it starts to move, and then we'll know if we need a slide hammer.
Throw that rust. Should just come right out.
It's coming right out, huh? See the light.
That bearing saying, no way to you.
Yeah, I know, huh? That's what they're saying right there. That's what they're saying. And the backer plate, I'm hoping the backer plate stays on, but yeah, you never know. I think I'm gonna get the slide hammer out and try the slide hammer and see if we have any luck. But I'm gonna smack it around a little bit more and see what happens.
Smack it, baby.
Yeah.
Nothing, huh?
All right, so we're trying the slide hammer. Of course, this, never really seems to work for me, but we're gonna try it. And I bolted it on with the lug nuts, and I use gloves because it shocks the crap out of your hands, but. That's freaking moving. All right, so we have a little bit of a gap there, so we got something moving here. So we're gonna slide hammer a little more, and then we're gonna try and get, a thin chisel in there to separate it, and then we'll separate the bearing from the backer plate. And it's surprising, the backer plate has a little bit of rust on it, rot, but it's pretty solid, it seems.
It's coming.
Move it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, keep moving. The whole backer plate is coming though. Yeah. I'm gonna get some penetrating oil on it. Just trying to get some penetrating oil soaked in here, and because we have to press this backer plate off of this after. So let's see what happens. All right, so our brake line, fortunately, is in great condition. So we're gonna unbolt this thing, and then we have to somehow knock this thing off, and I may have to take the brake line off of it so that we can knock this thing off from the backing plate. But let me get this off and see.
If you live in a dry area like Arizona or something, this hub might just come flying out for you, right, Steve?
Yeah. Not New England.
But in New England, everything's so rusted together.
Yeah.
So what's going on here is the back of that wheel hub assembly is poking through the backing plate.
Yeah.
On some cars, it's just sandwiched in there, but on this one, it goes right through, and it's
It
kind of...
looks like it might have moved. So
Yeah.
we're gonna try and put the bearing up against the bar here.
Yeah.
And maybe smack these
See if we can get it to
and
pop
see
out.
if we can get it to pop out a little bit. So.
Right. I don't know if it's really moving at all.
I gotta try and hit this side. Yeah.
All right, so what we'll do now is we're separating the brake line from the backing plate so we can press this bearing out.
Yeah.
Right, Steve?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna see if this brake line cracks loose for us.
You may not need to do any of this if you live in a better climate than we do.
You kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Brake free?
Well, free. Just gonna work it slowly. Okay, so we get the line off, okay? And here's where it gets fuzzy. Okay, so Tony is gonna have to hit this while I hold this shoe. And he's gonna hammer this out while I'm holding this pad here, because I don't want to disconnect the emergency brake.
Okay.
And that's gonna press this off the backing plate. Then we're gonna clean all the rust out of this hole. And we're gonna
It's a freaking mess.
scrape it, and then we'll never seize this all up.
Yeah.
But he's gonna basically take the hammer,
Yep.
and he's gonna hit this while I'm holding the brake shoes and the backing plate. And that's gonna press this out of the holder here.
Who's gonna hold the camera?
Don't know.
Let's get going.
You're gonna try and hit this, yeah, right there.
So, because I don't have an extra cameraman, I held the backing plate while Steve
Tony
hit that.
held each side of it, and we just sprayed penetrating all around the edge. And the backing plate is flat, so this protrudes out. So we got it to press off. So now we're just gonna do some cleanup here, clean this flat, never seize this all up. We can put the thing back in place. We can catch our brake line.
Yep.
And we're gonna clean this brake line up so it turns a little easier. Spend some time doing that.
And
So
Steve had pinched off the brake line with vice grip, so it wasn't gonna leak
fluid,
brake fluid.
So
Yeah.
get the flex hose pinched, and then we'll have to bleed this brake a little bit and make sure the pedal feels good. So, all right, let's get this all cleaned up. So I'm just spinning my fitting on my brake line here, you know, trying to push it back a little bit so that I can get some penetrating oil on the front in here and get my fitting so that it's moving a little smoother. So when I go to tighten it up, you know, so I'm just doing a little preamp time here. And so, I mean, I like to get this fitting to move smooth with my fingers, you know. You don't really want to start it with a wrench. So, because you don't know if you don't start it right, you know. So, I'm just gonna keep working this till it's free. Put a little more penetrating oil on it and keep working it. It's freeing up now. You know, get some rust in there and stuff, and you can see the rust come out of the back of it. So I'll spray a little more oil on it. I can get the fitting to move back and forth.
Yeah, it looks pretty free.
You know, so it's starting to, it's got a little lump on it, a little lumpy spot, so I want to get that out. So when I put the backing plate back on, it just catches easy, you know, so I'll try and get that straightened out. So we're just cleaning everything up, no rust off. We're gonna get everything never seized up, and then we'll put this all back together.
So what we're doing is we're putting some never sees inside the hub right here, the housing.
Yeah.
And if we ever have to go in here again, it'll make it a little easier to remove it.
Yeah, the next guy that goes in will be loving us.
Yeah, that ain't gonna be us.
No. If this kid still got this car in another 10 years, there's a problem, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so get that never seized. We got our line all loose and easy. So I'm gonna get the backing plate with the bearing up in place. And the bearing has a certain hole area for the spacer to come, for the sensor to come through. And so we'll line that up, and we'll get this bracket back in here like we had, just to hold it in place. And then we'll catch a bolt, and then we'll worry about getting our line started for the back of the wheel cylinder over here. We're gonna try and catch this line right now, and
Around the back.
I don't know how you see.
There you go. Can you see it?
Not really. It's going by feel.
Steve had that LASIK surgery, but he can only see far. They have a great joy in making fun of him.
It's all right.
You don't need to see.
Stupid light. Came off easy.
Yeah, you just want to be careful catching these things. Catch them by hand. Take your time. You want to catch the threads on that brake wheel cylinder in there. Get a caught by hand now. We're wrenching it back on.
Yeah, I'm not going to tighten it down until I get the, really tighten it up until I get the everything back in place.
Leave it a little loose.
All right. I gotta get this lined up with the 4 holes.
Yep.
Okay. That's lined up with the 4 holes here. And now we're just gonna grab our bearing and put that in place.
And it's gonna put a little nevices on it so it slides together.
Even though we got it on the other stuff, we're still gonna.
Don't get it in the sensor.
No, and we got our bolts all lubed up too, so. Now, when you look at this, remember, the sensor has to go in this way because that's where the hole is.
Yeah, it's a provision for
Right,
it.
so we're gonna line this up, slide this into place, and I'm gonna get my bar. Okay, so we got one in. Now I should be able to look down in that hole down there, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna catch a bolt in there now.
Okay.
The bolt never seized. And I'll try and start it by hand. Grab that ratchet. Make sure I get this going. I'm not sure if it's started right. Okay. Let's try this one. This bearing looks kind of cocked, like it's not level. Just gotta make sure we get these started right. Yeah, that's not starting right.
There we go.
Okay, all right, so I want to catch them all first, and then we'll start snugging them down. And make sure you try and get the bearing, the bolt caught, but not putting pressure on the there we go. So we don't cock the bearing. Once you start putting pressure, once the bolt head hits the bearing, you start pressing in and it'll cock it on you, and it's going to make it hard to catch the other bolts. So we want them all caught first. Look at these all. Oh, really nice. just pressing it in. Now that one feels stuck pretty snug there. We're getting close to bottoming this out. Okay, got that one there. Now you're not torquing the bearing. There's no nut on the bearing, so you know you just want this tight. You don't have to kill the thing per se, but that's about it for that one. That's about it for that one. Okay, so we're going to tighten our line up now, get that bottomed out and tight. That was a 10 millimeter on the line. Okay. Now on the back side over here, Tony can come in and we can plug our electrical connector in. Okay, get the clip.
Yep.
Okay, so that's all good. All right, so we've got our line back on. We've got our 4 bolts tight. And now we're gonna slip the shoes on, and we're going to show you how to adjust the self-adjuster, which is up top over here. So we get the drum. We're going to take the button. It's got a rubber plug in here. We just pushed it out. Okay. And we'll put the drum on and we'll line it up. Now, we're lucky there wasn't really a big ridge on this drum. That's why it came off. Yeah, that's why it came off. So we put this on now. Probably moved our shoes a little bit.
Yeah, I think we did. Messing around in there quite a bit.
Built up on this backing plate here. And see how it's giving you the shiny mark right here?
So it's
There ain't much that we can do with it. Once this thing goes down the road, you know, a little bit, this is gonna quiet right down. But, you know, you got an old rusty rotor, drum I should say, so you kinda, oh, let's see. Quiet right down. So now we got the self-adjuster in here, and you can see it right there. And we're gonna go. We're gonna go and adjust this thing up until it's tight, and we can't adjust it anymore. And then we're gonna back it off. Okay, I knew I was close the other day, so now I can't turn this drum. Okay, now I'm gonna come back 2 to 3 turns. 1, 2. Now I've got good adjustment for my emergency brake. And there's just a little scraping, but that'll be gone once we get going down the road. So, but you know, everything's rusty here. You know, you're not gonna take an hour cleaning all the rust off. You ain't gonna have anything left.
Man, no kidding. I know.
That's what New England is. So we got our plug back in, and we're gonna bleed this one wheel, and that'll do it for us.